Hey guys, Big Daddy Liberty coming to you from Waterfall here in Johannesburg. You can possibly hear that earlier gunshot as it goes off right now, that I'm on a live range. Well, not that it's live, but I'm on a range at the moment, and we're at the Waterfall Outdoor Guns and Ammunition. And what are we doing here? Well, if the cameraman turns that way, you'll see a group of ladies walking in, and that's exactly who we're here to see, the ladies. And this is part of the Girls on Fire initiative by Gun Owners South Africa, our good friends at GOSA. You're aware of them. I'll put a link up over there to show you some old episodes we've done with them. They've held these events before, and this, I'll argue, is a new batch of ladies, and of course an old batch of ladies who are more skilled and proficient in the use of firearms, teaching those very skills. You know, how do we get more women in this country to adopt the gun culture, to become trained and proficient gun owners? That is the whole notion of the day. And again, it happens in the backdrop of a country like ours, which has some of the highest rates of gender-based violence in the country, whether we're talking about rape, sexual assault, and any of these other invasive categories of crime that often target women in this country, and of course, the more vulnerable portions of this population. I've said it before on the show, and I'll say it again. Basically, putting a firearm in a woman's hand, a trained woman's hand, a legal firearm in a woman's hand, is one of the best ways of ensuring that we can push back that bad culture in this country that has developed of violence against women. It basically gives that woman in the moment the ability to say to a would-be attacker, it is the choice is between my life and yours, and trust me, this firearm is a force multiplier. It'll be your life, dear attacker, and not mine. That's the kind of society I've always argued I would like to see. I want to see more headlines of would-be rapist, being the one who does the dying, taking the room temperature challenge, as I like to quip about this issue. So let me not waffle on. I'm just going to bring you images today of these ladies, from the most novice, who's never even seen a gun before, to some of the more expert ladies. I'll show you what it is, really, to be a part of the gun culture. And maybe you might be interested in joining up. Well, we'll give you that information at the end. So buckle up. Welcome to the Big Daddy Liberty Show. Remember, you can support the show and the work that I do by becoming a contributor to the show. All of those details are right there in the descriptor of the video. So with that being said, Molo Sanbonani, hello, how's it, and shalom. You're watching the Big Daddy Liberty Show. Matebo, nice to meet you. You just had a little tutorial now before you fire. Is this the first time you'll be firing a gun?
A real gun, yes, it is. So yesterday I tried the pellet one.
Mm-hmm.
It freaked me out, but I don't know if I'll be freaked out here.
But tell me about your excitement levels. Where are you? Are you here?
My
Mid-range?
adrenaline is up here because I'm even starting to shake and stuff. Yeah, so.
Final question before you shoot. Why is this important to you?
For safety reasons, I actually do not want to depend on anybody but myself. I've been through a house robbery at a friend's house and got my car swiped, taken, and I was butted with the gun. So I just want to take control of my life now.
Thank you. We're going to keep an eye on you, and hopefully after you shot, we'll have a quick chat also. Okay. Awesome. Enjoy.
Thank you.
How was that?
That was nerve-wracking, but it felt awesome.
Just very quickly, why did you decide to come here today?
Well, obviously to protect myself and my family if I stay on a farm, and I've heard a lot of bad things about people just killing people on farms. So I thought, hey, this might be a great thing to do.
Good shooting.
Thank you.
How did that feel?
Nerve-wracking, exciting, adrenaline pumping. Yeah,
Was it we spoke before?
yes,
I know that was the first time.
yes.
What was going through your mind?
What's going through my mind is I need to get the target. I need to breathe. And I shouldn't close my eyes. That was what was going through my mind.
Final thoughts. Having started this process, will you continue the training? Will you look to become a gun owner?
Yes, definitely, I would.
Good shooting. All right, guys, you have seen it for yourselves. The ladies are still behind me, shooting away. For many of these ladies, this is the first time they have held a gun, but there is a story behind each and every one of them, an impetus, if you will, a motivation for why their self-defense is in their hands now as they pick up and learn the skill of becoming a responsible firearms owner. Again, as I said, these are the first few steps, and each of the ladies you see who are instructors are, of course, highly proficient, highly trained, and do this, some of them actually for their living. So I'm super chuffed to see what I'm seeing here. May there be more women who do exactly this, because I've said it before and I'll say it again. You are your own self-defender. You are your own first responder. And the day you decide to become a legal gun owner, a responsible gun owner, that is the day you'll take your security, your safety into your own hands, So ladies, if you're watching this, there's another one of these events next weekend. I'll have those details on the screen. In the meantime, let's chat to some of the guys from GOSA and from the Girls on Fire campaign, find out why this was important for them, and we'll get that conversation going and wrap up the show. Paul, today's super important, isn't it? It's just one of those days where, we had this chat when I was arriving in the parking lot. I'm going to frame one of those sort of easy pass questions because, we must set the scene here. Why is a day like this, especially getting ladies involved in their self-defense with a tool like a firearm, why is a day like this so important?
Because they're probably the most marginalized segment of our society. They're the most victimized segment of our society. We keep hearing everyone banging on about gender-based violence and asking the men, please not to abuse the woman. That's a particularly weak response to gender-based violence. We say all the time, the only person that's guaranteed to be there when you get attacked is your attacker and you.
Absolutely.
So much more so for ladies. The only person that's guaranteed to be... The attackers aren't going to attack ladies when they've got protection close by. They're going to wait until they're alone. They're going to wait until they think that they can single them out. They're predators. The point being that they try to go for easy targets. Yeah. So when they see a woman is alone, she's unprotected, there's a good chance that they can have their way with her, or whatever they're planning. So those are the people that we have to empower.
Absolutely.
That's real empowerment. That's not talking on TV about please tell the men not to abuse the woman. It's the woman standing up and saying, the hell, I can protect myself.
Absolutely.
I have the means. We seem to have forgotten that over the years, that women are people, this paternalistic society doesn't, getting beyond a paternalistic society doesn't entail protecting women. It entails empowering women and giving them the tools to protect themselves. They're just as capable as men. They drive cars, for heaven's sakes. A car's a complicated piece of equipment. It's got multiple controls. A firearm's got one control, the trigger finger.
Absolutely.
That's it. If women can handle a car, they can handle a firearm. So it's to get beyond that whole thing of waiting for women to have protection extended to them. They can protect themselves.
Absolutely.
And this is why this is so important. This is why this is so vital to our fight, because it's also women that are the most easily swayed to be anti-firearm. The message is always put out to them, my sisters, let's talk about, how we can make society safer by taking the guns out of society. So my question is, how do you take guns away from criminals? You don't. The police don't know. They can't do that. They can only take guns away from people that give their guns to them. Taking guns out of society shouldn't be a one-way street. It should be something. Firearms are an incredible tool. Firearms are a tool that should be used for good, not for bad.
Absolutely. And that's the thrust of it, basically, isn't it? It's the idea that, there's a great conversation in this country, and there's vested interest groups behind those conversations too. Like Gun-Free South Africa. There's this airy-fairy notion that actually, if you just ban the guns, that miraculously they disappear. But I've yet to see a criminal that follows the law.
Sure. And that's the thing that worries us tremendously, because where does that come from? I mean, it can't be. It's not. They're not a group that has any real traction in South Africa. There's half a dozen people involved with Gun-Free South Africa, and yet they have this huge media footprint. They have influence. They send briefing documents to the Civilian Secretary of Police, based on which the Civilian Secretary of Police crafts legislation for South Africa, based on the opinions of half a dozen foreign-funded activists. Whose agenda are they actually pushing?
I want to pivot this conversation just in two directions as we wrap up. And that is this notion of, the gun owner will be told is this, verkrampte type character in the khaki shorts and the veldskoene and the long socks. Shout out to the homies with them veldskoenes. I'm one of them. But we're told that there's this trope often thrown at us that it's the old right wing in inverted commas. But surely it's not the whole community.
I've got to give a shout out to a media person at this particular moment. This program came about because we were criticized many years ago. We were criticized as being this bunch of old white males that are pushing the firearm, the idea of being armed and for self-defense and for other purposes. It was supposed to be this white Afrikaner male thing. Okay, so I'm a male. I'm white. I can't do much about that, despite what Coke might think.
Zing.
But I'm not a woman, so I can't speak to that. So my wife and I were sitting in 2016, and we were contemplating a particular bit of invective that was directed towards us about these white males, elderly white males. We said, but hang on a second, let's turn this thing around. We know that there's a lot of women involved with firearms. We know there's a lot of women that need to be involved with firearms. So let's start this thing for ladies that specifically focus on bringing ladies into the shooting sphere and into the self-defense sphere. And that's where Girls on Fire came from. So wherever you are, Rebecca Davies, shout out to you. Thank you, sister.
Absolutely. And maybe as we wrap this conversation up, and again, it's an ongoing conversation. You've been on the show before, and GOSA are a big supporter of the BDL Show, as I am of you guys. But talk to that young lady who might be watching right now, maybe has themselves gone through something and have already seen images of young ladies, maybe who even look like them, firing off shots for the first time in some cases. Give me that sales pitch. I hate to put it in that sense of why they should be at these events learning these skills, because this is a life skill, isn't it?
So we teach kids in school when they're very young. We teach them how to cross the road safely. We teach them look left, look right, look left again. But we don't teach them about guns. Guns are a very, very real part of our world.
Absolutely.
So if we don't teach them how to act around guns, we don't teach them how to be safe with guns, how do we expect them to be safe with guns? We do this for kids that are in junior school. We teach them how to react in the traffic, but we don't teach them about guns. I mean, how irresponsible is that of us? We should be teaching school kids. So one of the things that this particular group of shops, this Waterfall Arms, Pretoria Arms, and Dave Share Guns has got going, is they've started something called Shooting Scouts, where they, particularly for kids, have shooting lessons and shooting competitions with real guns, not with pellet guns, with real guns, not with air rifles. And that's an important thing to do, because you're bringing kids in here and you're teaching them how to act around guns. It's the same sort of thing that we're doing with the ladies. We're teaching them how to act around guns. So they know what is safe. They know what to do if they encounter a gun in the course of their lives. And hopefully with the ladies, we're encouraging them to actually get armed so that they can protect themselves.
What more can I say? It really is one of those, it's again, it's such an emotional issue for me in particular. I was raised by a single parent, a single mum who was physically disabled. There is a palpable sense at times of what would we do if a would-be attacker, a would-be rapist were to walk into these doors. Paul, final point. How do we reach you? And if those ladies are now gearing up and are like chomping at the bit, how do they get involved?
Okay, so the Girls on Fire program, as we call it, is part of GOSA's public outreach. GOSA is Gun Owners South Africa. You can reach us on Facebook us on Gun Owners, on GOSA Gun Owners South Africa. We're out there. We're coming to a place close to you. We have a program of firearms festivals that we do all around the country. They've been interrupted by COVID, as is the rest of our lives. Again, we'll be coming to every capital of every province in the country during the next 12 months. And we have a lot of these smaller events. This is a small event for us. We hold them twice a month, and it's 40 people twice a month. We have another event in fact next week, beginning of March. We have a big event, 150 ladies at the end of March. We have another event for 40 ladies on the 18th of April, already scheduled. We have more and more and more of them. We're going down to Port Elizabeth, hopefully in April, for the Firearms Festival at the end of April. And so it goes. Look for us. We'll be there. Get in touch with us on Facebook. We're out there.
Absolutely, Paul. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, sir.
And with that being said, you've seen it. I mean, we've spoken to the guys at GOSA. Stay tuned. I'm going to have a chat with one of the firearms instructors who you saw inside there. And Paul is absolutely right. This is a event, for the ladies and actually by the ladies, as you saw on the gun range. So we're going to have that chat after the short break. Stay tuned. You're watching the Big Daddy Liberty Show. Annika, we've been inside. The viewers have seen images of ladies, some a bit more frightened, others more, confident. That's the spectrum, isn't it? People, this is the first time for a lot of these ladies, but tell me about your first time. What brought you into becoming someone who firstly looks to become a gun owner, but also very, very proficient in it, even becoming a range officer?
Okay. I grew up in a very Afrikaans household where my parents all own firearms. And I happened to marry a guy that loves firearms, that never pushed it on me, never forced me to shoot, but would take me with. It would be a nice outing for us. And as he took me with, started shooting, the bugs started biting. And it took me quite a while from when I met him to where I decided now I need to start my journey. I met Lynette, the founder of Girls on Fire, and she explained to me what the purpose is of this. Why do you need a firearm? And I sat down realizing one day, if a big man jumps at me, especially in South Africa, that tries to do something or tries to harm me, what am I going to do?
Absolutely.
I can't do anything. So I decided to go on this journey. My husband took me to the shooting range, handed me over to someone, because spouses should never teach their wives. And I chose a firearm, started my competency training, applied, and I've been carrying religiously every day.
Absolutely. And shout out to you for doing that. Because as I've been saying, and this leads into the second question, more ladies in this country should be in this position where they are empowered to take their defense into their hands. I've often said, I've often said on this show that, ladies have to become their own self-defender. You can't sit back, whether you're a lady or a guy actually, you can't sit back and expect this government, to protect you in a moment where there's a would-be attacker, a would-be rapist. Maybe in a final... in your own words, why should a lady who's watching now, maybe is a little a little frightened of coming and hearing that loud pop, why should they be here? And in your view, have there been more ladies, who've come to own firearms?
There have definitely been an increase in lady firearm ownership. The thing, it comes from my first answer, is if a man comes towards you to try and do something to you, you as a lady, you are weaker. Maybe you're a big bodybuilder, which obviously puts you in a different class. But you are much less, you're not as strong as they are. And there isn't much you're going to be able to do to protect yourself. A firearm would be your great equalizer to protect yourself. And it goes further than that. If your husband is a firearm owner, you should be able to back him up. It's not his priority. Well, it is his priority, hopefully. But it shouldn't be his. He shouldn't be the only first responder. You should be able to protect yourself and your husband, your children, or your family members.
Absolutely. Annika, thank you so much for your time. You heard it. This isn't a boys' club. There are ladies who are here. Heck, I showed you the ladies inside. Again, they run that gauntlet and that spectrum, if you will, of someone who's never held a firearm before, to even ladies who've had, their firearm license and are proficient in the use for years upon years. You too can become that lady. You too can stand your ground, especially in a country like this one, and say, my safety is my responsibility. TJ, thank you so much for your time. You, of course, are the manager here at Waterfall Arms and Outdoor. Talk to me about the importance of just this shop. What sort of clientele have you seen walk in through here? Are you seeing more women, for example, walking through your shop doors?
We are, because, the women in South Africa are actually getting sick and tired of the crime and the violence here in South Africa. So now they're coming to Waterfall Arms over here. Waterfall Arms in the top section here offers all the outdoor excitement for all the guys, and then downstairs we have the gun shop. The outdoor top piece over here creates an atmosphere, so it's not intimidating for anyone. But a lot of ladies are coming to Waterfall Arms now to defend themselves now. So what happens is they come through to acquire a pistol this side over here. They go through the licensing processing at the local police station, and we're just here to assist them, and we take them onto the shooting range. We show them exactly how to use the pistol. More of the GOSA guys are coming through here to show them how to defend themselves in a certain situation. So we do find a lot of ladies now coming through, but also everyone in general. I think everyone's getting sick and tired of the crime here in South Africa, so they're looking towards something to defend themselves now, because let's face the facts, pepper spray, bats and knives not going to cut it. A firearm is there to defend themselves, but in a way not to kill, but just to defend.
Absolutely. On this show we talk a lot about our values as South Africans, across race, across gender, of being faith, flag, family and freedom. And people will do what they do for the benefit of family, for example, including self-defense. Maybe as a final question, I tip my hat off to the owner of this establishment and the many others that he's invested hard money in around the country. Maybe put me through his rationale. Why was it important for him to invest as he has in shops like these across the country? Why is it really important?
The owner's perspective over the shops that he currently owns at the moment is to offer something that we lack in South Africa, which is service. And that's exactly what he wants. So Waterfall is just the next level. The next project that he's actually got himself invested with will be on a higher level. He wants to raise the bar every time he opens up a store over here. So for instance, Waterfall is one of the pictures that he pictured here, especially in this kind of area, to have an outdoor environment and to have the gun facility downstairs. And we actually find it actually does work. A lot of the people who like to go hiking on the weekends will come to see us because they know that we have the widest range of binoculars, for instance, over here. So he wants to expand everything in South Africa, but at the same time he wants to provide the service that most shops lack in South Africa. So that is the picture that he wants to portray. And that's why here at Waterfall, you'll find that every time you walk into the store, we have security always greeting, we have everyone to your aid, and we always are humble and we are friendly with all our customers over here. And that's exactly what you want. You want to walk into a shop and feel at home, not feel intimidated in any way, but to say, wow, you know what, I actually love the staff members here because they're so friendly, they give me the correct advice and they give me the correct pricing. So that's exactly what we portray over here.
Dude, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so
Super
much.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thanks
That's
for coming.
TJ Haramso, of course, who is the manager here at the Waterfall Arms and Outdoor Shop. There is plenty of these shops across the country. I'm going to put the information here on the screen. And with that being said, thank you, dear viewer, for watching this episode of the Big Daddy Liberty Show. Yo, what a day. You saw the ladies, man, firing off, busting them caps downstairs. If you are in this part of Gauteng, that's in the Waterfall area, and I'm sure there are other shops in the country. As I said, I have that information at the bottom. So make your way down to a shop like this, pick up some gear, and of course, some knowledge too. That being said, guys, please support the show. As always, you can make a contribution. Details at the bottom of this episode, the descriptor. And thank you for watching. And with that being said, a reminder to you, never trust a commie.